What if everything you thought you knew about human nature was wrong? What if the key to understanding success, happiness, and fulfillment wasn't found in logic and reason, but buried deep in the unconscious mind? Today, we're diving into David Brooks' groundbreaking work, The Social Animal, a book that completely revolutionizes how we think about human behavior and decision making. You know, most of us go through life believing we're rational creatures making logical choices. We think our conscious minds are in control, carefully weighing options and making calculated decisions. But Brooks reveals something absolutely mind-blowing. We're actually driven by forces we can't even see or understand. The unconscious mind, this mysterious realm beneath our awareness, is actually running the show. This isn't just another self-help book or dry academic text. Brooks takes us on an incredible journey through the latest discoveries in neuroscience, psychology, and behavioral economics. He shows us how our brains are wired for connection, how emotions shape our reality, and why the most successful people aren't necessarily the smartest ones. Through compelling storytelling and cutting-edge research, he paints a picture of human nature that's both humbling and empowering. What makes this book truly special is how Brooks weaves together complex scientific concepts with real-world applications. He doesn't just tell us what the research says, he shows us what it means for our daily lives, our relationships, and our society. Whether you're a student, professional, parent, or just someone curious about what makes people tick, this book will change how you see yourself and others forever. The Social Animal represents a paradigm shift in how we understand human behaviour and achievement. Published in 2011, David Brooks' masterpiece challenges the fundamental assumptions of Western culture about rationality, consciousness, and success. Brooks, a respected New York Times columnist and social commentator, spent years researching this comprehensive exploration of the unconscious mind's role in shaping our lives. What sets this book apart is its ambitious scope and unique approach. Rather than presenting dry academic theory, Brooks creates a compelling narrative that follows in two fictional characters, Harold and Erica, from birth through their entire lives. Through their story, he demonstrates how unconscious processes influence every aspect of human experience, from learning and memory to love and career success. The book emerged from Brooks' growing frustration with the limitations of rational choice theory and economic models that treat humans as purely logical beings. He recognized that breakthrough research in neuroscience, psychology, and behavioral economics was revealing a far more complex picture of human nature. The unconscious mind, far from being a primitive relic, turns out to be incredibly sophisticated and influential. Brooks argues that we've been living under what he calls the rationalist delusion for centuries. This worldview assumes that conscious reasoning is the primary driver of human behavior, and that success comes from logical analysis and deliberate practice. However, the evidence suggests something radically different. Our unconscious minds process information faster, more accurately, and more comprehensively than our conscious thoughts ever could. The Social Animal doesn't just present this revolutionary perspective, it provides a roadmap for understanding and harnessing these unconscious forces. Brooks shows us how emotional intelligence, social skills, and intuitive decision-making often matter more than raw analytical ability. He reveals why some people seem to have a natural gift for leadership, relationships, or creative problem-solving, while others struggle despite their obvious intelligence. The Social Animal unfolds as an innovative blend of storytelling and scientific exploration, following Harold and Erica's journey while revealing profound truths about human nature. Brooks uses these fictional characters as vehicles to demonstrate how unconscious processes shape every moment of our existence, from the way we learn language as children to the complex social dynamics we navigate as adults. The narrative begins with Harold and Erica's births, showing how genetic predispositions and early experiences create the foundation for their personalities and capabilities. Brooks illustrates how babies are born with sophisticated unconscious abilities to read faces, recognize patterns, and form emotional connections. These early chapters reveal that much of what we consider learned behavior is actually the result of unconscious processing that happens automatically and effortlessly. As Harold and Erica grow, their story demonstrates how education, relationships, and career choices are influenced by factors we rarely recognize. Brooks shows how Erica's success isn't just about her intelligence or hard work, but about her ability to read social cues, build emotional connections, and make intuitive decisions. Similarly, Harold's journey reveals how unconscious biases, cultural patterns, and emotional intelligence shape his path through life. The book explores how these characters navigate love, marriage, parenthood, and professional challenges. Brooks uses their experiences to illustrate complex concepts like attachment theory, social learning, and the role of emotions in decision making. He shows how their unconscious minds constantly process vast amounts of information, allowing them to make split-second judgments about people and situations. Throughout their story, Brooks weaves in cutting-edge research from neuroscience, psychology, and behavioral economics. He explains how the brain's reward systems work, why certain behaviors become habits, and how social connections literally rewire our neural pathways. The narrative format makes these complex scientific concepts accessible and memorable, showing their real-world implications rather than just describing them abstractly. The book culminates with Harold and Erica's later years, demonstrating how unconscious wisdom accumulates over time and how the deepest forms of knowledge come from lived experience rather than formal education. The first major revelation in The Social Animal centers on the incredible sophistication of infant learning and development. Brooks demonstrates that babies enter the world with unconscious abilities that surpass anything we previously imagined. Within hours of birth, infants can recognize their mother's voice, distinguish between different facial expressions, and begin forming emotional attachments that will influence their entire lives. This isn't random biological programming, but rather evidence of an unconscious mind that's already processing complex social and emotional information. The implications are staggering. Much of what we consider learned behaviour is actually the result of unconscious pattern recognition and social intelligence that operates from our earliest moments. The second crucial concept involves the role of emotions in decision-making and learning. Brooks reveals how neuroscience has completely overturned the traditional view that emotions interfere with rational thought. Instead, research shows that emotions are essential for good decision-making, providing rapid assessments of situations and guiding our attention toward important information. People with damaged emotional centers in their brains struggle with even simple decisions, not because they lack intelligence, but because they can't access the unconscious emotional wisdom that normally guides our choices. This emotional intelligence operates faster than conscious thought and often proves more accurate than deliberate analysis. The third major theme explores how social connections literally reshape our brains and identities. Brooks presents fascinating evidence that our neural pathways are constantly being modified by our relationships and social experiences. When we form deep connections with others, our brains begin to mirror their patterns, creating shared emotional and cognitive responses. This isn't just metaphorical, it's physical. Brain scans show that people in close relationship develop similar neural patterns. The implications extend far beyond individual psychology to explain how cultures form, how values spread, and why social isolation can be so damaging to human development. Brooks's fourth key insight examines the hidden curriculum of successful education and development. He reveals that the most effective learning environments don't just transfer information, they create conditions where unconscious pattern recognition can flourish. The best teachers, coaches, and mentors understand that skill development happens through repeated exposure to complex situations rather than explicit instruction. This explains why apprenticeship models have been so effective throughout history and why purely academic approaches often fail to produce real-world competence. The fifth major revelation concerns the nature of expertise in intuitive decision-making. Brooks shows how true experts in any field develop what he calls educated intuition, the ability to make rapid, accurate judgments without conscious deliberation. This isn't mystical or random, but rather the result of unconscious pattern recognition systems that have been trained through extensive experience. Chess masters, experienced doctors, and skilled negotiators all rely on these unconscious processes to make split-second decisions that often surpass the results of careful analysis. The sixth crucial concept explores how cultural and social environments shape individual development in ways we rarely recognize. Brooks demonstrates that our personalities, values, and capabilities are heavily influenced by the unconscious absorption of cultural patterns and social expectations. This doesn't mean we're passive victims of our environment, but rather that our unconscious minds are constantly learning from and adapting to the social world around us. Understanding these influences allows us to make more conscious choices about the environments we create and inhabit. The seventh major theme examines the relationship between conscious goals and unconscious motivation. Brooks reveals that while we may think we're driven by rational objectives, our behaviour is actually guided by deeper unconscious needs for connection, meaning, and social recognition. The most successful people aren't necessarily those with the clearest goals, but those whose conscious ambitions align with their unconscious motivations. This alignment creates a powerful synergy that drives sustained effort and creative problem solving. The final key insight concerns the development of wisdom and the integration of conscious and unconscious knowledge. Brooks shows how the deepest forms of understanding come from the gradual accumulation of unconscious experience rather than formal education alone. True wisdom involves learning to trust and integrate both conscious analysis and unconscious intuition, creating a more complete and effective approach to life's challenges. The first transformative insight from the social animal is understanding that your unconscious mind is far more powerful and sophisticated than you ever imagined. This isn't about mystical or supernatural abilities, but about recognizing that your brain constantly processes enormous amounts of information below the threshold of awareness. Your unconscious mind can detect patterns, read social cues, and make connections that your conscious mind would take hours to analyze. Learning to trust and develop this unconscious intelligence can dramatically improve your decision-making abilities. Instead of always trying to think your way through problems, you can learn to access the rapid, intuitive assessments that your unconscious mind provides naturally. The second crucial takeaway involves revolutionizing how you approach learning and skill development. Traditional educational models focus on conscious knowledge transfer, but Brooks shows that the most effective learning happens through unconscious pattern recognition. This means seeking out rich, complex environments where you can absorb information naturally rather than just studying abstract concepts. Whether you're learning a new language, developing leadership skills, or mastering a craft, focus on immersive experiences that allow your unconscious mind to recognize and internalize patterns. Mentorship, apprenticeship, and hands-on practice become far more valuable than purely academic approaches. The third powerful lesson concerns the fundamental importance of emotional intelligence in all aspects of life. Brooks demonstrates that emotions aren't obstacles to clear thinking. They're essential tools for effective decision-making. Your emotional responses provide rapid assessments of situations, people, and opportunities that can guide your choices more accurately than pure logic. Developing emotional intelligence means learning to read and interpret these emotional signals in yourself and others. This skill becomes crucial for leadership, relationships, and personal fulfillment. Instead of trying to suppress emotions, learn to understand and integrate them into your decision-making process. The fourth transformative insight involves understanding how social connections literally reshape your brain and identity. The people you spend time with don't just influence your opinions, they actually change your neural pathways and unconscious patterns. This makes your social environment one of the most important factors in your personal development. Choose relationships and communities that support your growth and reflect the values you want to embody. Recognize that isolation isn't just emotionally difficult, it's neurologically damaging. Investing in deep, meaningful relationships isn't just personally rewarding, it's essential for optimal brain function and decision-making. The fifth key takeaway focuses on developing what Brooks calls educated intuition. This involves building expertise through extensive experience that allows your unconscious mind to make rapid, accurate judgments. In any field you want to master, seek out opportunities for deliberate practice and exposure to complex real-world situations. Don't just study theories. Immerse yourself in environments where you can develop pattern recognition skills. Learn to distinguish between random hunches and educated intuition by paying attention to the accuracy of your unconscious assessments over time. The sixth crucial lesson involves understanding how cultural and environmental factors unconsciously shape your development. Your personality, values, and capabilities are heavily influenced by the unconscious absorption of cultural patterns and social expectations. This awareness allows you to make more conscious choices about the environments you create and inhabit. Seek out cultures and communities that support your growth and challenge you to develop your potential. Recognize that changing your environment can be one of the most powerful tools for personal transformation. The seventh transformative insight concerns aligning your conscious goals with your unconscious motivations. Brooks shows that sustained success comes from understanding and integrating both levels of desire and ambition. Take time to explore what truly motivates you at a deeper level, beyond surface-level goals and social expectations. Look for ways to align your career, relationships, and life choices with these deeper unconscious drives. This alignment creates a powerful synergy that sustains effort and creativity over time. The eighth key takeaway involves developing a more integrated approach to decision-making that combines conscious analysis with unconscious wisdom. Instead of relying solely on logical reasoning or purely emotional responses, learn to integrate both systems. Use conscious analysis to gather information and consider options, but also pay attention to your unconscious responses and intuitive assessments. This integrated approach often produces better results than either system alone. The ninth crucial lesson focuses on understanding the gradual nature of wisdom development. Brooks shows that the deepest forms of knowledge come from the accumulation of unconscious experience over time. This means valuing patience and persistence in your personal development journey. Recognise that true expertise and wisdom can't be rushed or shortcuts taken. Embrace the process of gradual learning and trust that your unconscious mind is constantly integrating and building upon your experiences. The 10th transformative insight involves recognising the profound interconnectedness of human experience. Brooks demonstrates that individual success and fulfillment are deeply connected to social relationships and cultural context. This understanding can help you approach personal development with greater humility and social awareness, recognizing that your growth is both enabled by and contributes to the broader human community. The social animal fundamentally challenges us to reconsider what it means to be human in the modern world. Brooks's revolutionary insights about the unconscious mind don't just change how we understand individual psychology, they transform our approach to education, relationships, leadership, and social policy. By revealing the sophisticated intelligence that operates beneath our awareness, he opens up new possibilities for personal growth and social progress. Perhaps most importantly, this book offers hope for bridging the growing divides in our society. When we understand that human behaviour is driven by unconscious needs for connection, meaning, and social recognition, we can begin to address conflicts and challenges with greater empathy and effectiveness. The recognition that we're all social animals, shaped by similar unconscious processes, creates a foundation for greater understanding and cooperation. The practical implications of Brooks's work extend far beyond individual self-improvement. Educational institutions can redesign their approaches to focus on developing unconscious pattern recognition alongside conscious knowledge. Organisations can create cultures that support both analytical thinking and intuitive decision-making. Communities can build environments that nurture the deep social connections essential for human flourishing. For each of us personally, the social animal offers a roadmap for living more authentic, fulfilling lives. By understanding and integrating both conscious and unconscious aspects of our nature, we can make better decisions, build deeper relationships, and contribute more effectively to our communities. The book reminds us that human greatness isn't just about individual achievement, but about our capacity to connect, understand, and support one another in the shared journey of being human.